Hello and welcome. I'm going to be running today Victoria 3 as Prussia on patch 1.98, which currently is the beta patch in Victoria 3. I'm playing with these DLCs down here, so noticeably I don't have the two most recent ones. I don't have Pivot of Empire, and I don't have Charters of Commerce. Let's get into the game. We're going to be playing Prussia. Someone asked me to play Prussia, so that's what we're going to do. Unlike some of the more recent runs where I've been seeing how high I can get the GDP as China, we're not going to quite do that as Prussia. Instead, I'm going to see sort of, roughly speaking, how big or how high the standard of living I can get as Prussia. Slightly similar, slightly different. The game rules are basically going to be the default in here with Iron Man. That state. So, Prussia, pretty simple start. Loaded up a little bit early today, but otherwise haven't really done anything. This is again the beta. Debating a little bit of how to do the techs here. Thinking I want to get up to something a little bit more military oriented in this game. I don't think Prussia starts with all the techs that everyone has, so I think we'll get a little bit of spread. So I think we almost have all the techs everyone does. In earlier patches, you'd often do nationalism first, because it would activate, bring up the journal entries, would allow you to do the North German Federation. This has been moved to 75% of the North Germans have nationalism, so we're in a lot less rush to do that. So that's a little bit less of a rush. We do start with a corporation on this patch. We start off with Frederick Krupp, which I think initially at least we'll go ahead and keep because kill rate's nice. Railway building throughput's not bad, and we'll probably go ahead and actually subsidize those industries right away. Just make sure they stay stable. We start with an explosives factory. Because we're using it to supply for the ammo. Okay. And then we'll probably want to swap over to you. Evaluate that in a bit. Same with the philosophy department. That looks fine. We'll probably want to do some fishing trawlers. I think for the opening building here, we're going to go ahead and build one civilian shipyard. Oops, I skewed up 10. We're not China. We don't need that many that badly. One civilian shipyard, one military shipyard. And then state action-wise, we start with everything stated. As far as institutions, we start off with level 2 in education, level 1 in local law enforcement. I don't want to go ahead and raise local law enforcement. I'd rather wait until we can transition off to something else. Do we have a more possible or higher stability government? We could. We could kick the Junkers out and just stick to the armed forces. That would be a little bit more stable, and or bring in the petit bourgeoisie. Both of them potentially fairly strong options. Law-wise, we start on per capita. At some point, we'll want to get out of that. We're not going to rush to get out of it. It is probably the most tax-efficient law we can have at the moment. Yeah. So we're going to go heavy in consumption. We'll probably want colonialism of some sort. We probably want to move to dedicated at some point. The Junkers are opposed to it, and they're currently government. We'll probably want to either do Secret Police or National Guard. Lots of stuff for this start here. If this is your first time watching this channel, I stream this live to Twitch under the username Wilcol, and I record this for YouTube under the username Wilcol100. looking at the starting situation here. Yeah, I think we probably aren't going to necessarily benefit from doing it early, but we're gonna do a little bit more in the military tree here than I did in the Chinese one. We do start with a power block on internal trade and police coordination. I'll probably try to swap off of internal trade once we form North German Confederation to like international trade, because that's probably going to be better. Same thing with the police coordination. I don't really want police coordination, so we'll probably try swapping off of that as soon as we get another mandate. So we got everything queued up. Are there any laws that I want to try passing before we unpause? The intelligentsia would be opposed to both of those. For a professional army, that's good. You're being opposed by the Junkers. We're fairly powerful at the moment. They're going to get weaker as time goes on. Got property women. We could backslide into legal. We're not going to do that. What's the bourgeoisie providing me? Like bureaucrats or... Oh, they'd support going to dedicated as well. Okay. Yeah, I think we're not going to change any of those laws. I'm going to go ahead and up the education one. I'm ready to go. And because we're not changing the laws, we probably want to raise some decrees and taxes. Let's grab road maintenance there. Our social mobility. That's basically going to be our main port. And then the Ruhr region. So North Rhine, Ruhr, and Westphalia have the Ruhr coalfield, and the Ruhr and the North Rhine have the Rhine River as the market access impact effect there. As a side effect, it does make sense to potentially build stuff in them. We'll give it a couple motions on, or a couple weeks to go before we can see the economy adapt to our existing building. That's my interests. I've got 2 unclaimed interests. Let's go ahead and do South China, North China. We'll maybe try to get involved in the Opium War stuff. And then we'll do some improved relations with 1 major, apparently. Okay, New Britain. And then I suppose we can start working on some of the other miners in the meantime. And then let's distribute a few more. So you got road maintenance there. Let's do promote social mobility there, there. I'm gonna hold on to road maintenance and promote social mobility for one of the Ruhr states. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna go for yet. And figure out what we want with the revenue generating taxes. Coal is maybe not a mistake. Probably coal. Yeah, we're gonna go coal. Existing ones in coal. There we go. Let's let the time unpause, and we can wait for some of the journal entries and the market to update. One thing I can do before we get too into the market. Drop the taxes on you. Same here, we're going to drop the taxes on you for the moment. And then we're going to drop, we're actually going to convention the gun exports. So we can make our company profitable here. Same thing with steel. Okay. We definitely need more in the queue because we're actually only using 44 out of 45 construction. Private queue hasn't interceded yet to give us another construction. Could use more iron. Want like another 5 mines of iron. We got 5 different provinces to do it in. There is an argument to do it in the Rhine. Which is it saying, Schleswig over here. Schleswig over here is the most profitable place in Boston and such. Actually, it's the most profitable is Westphalia. Okay. No, I'm still thinking Rhine or because these guys get the mappy effects. So if I'm oversupplying it, it'll export a little bit better. Yeah, we'll do it here. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Call that good. Let time advance. And some of the changes I've already made have apparently already thrown the GDP up a little bit. Get started. The PMs, not all of them necessarily active, are they? No, now that we've been cycling for a couple moments, let's consider Valley existing philosophy department. This will make sense as soon as those clippers are made. I'm gonna wait until the clippers are made. Do the fishing upgrade. Spammed because of the new just activating. One thing I'm going to do to sort of maximize our GDP growth is I do want to try to push towards getting early multiculturalism. One of the easiest ways to do that is to get a discriminated against minority. So my plan is actually getting involved in the war over here in the Great Qing when the open crisis happens. Okay, filing cabinets kicked in. Now they take a temporary 5% bureaucracy, which we don't need, or we can get some tech. So we'll take the tech progress. Okay, so there's our civilian shipyard. I am going to subsidize it for the moment. Get it hiring. Here's atmospheric engines. We'll take it to the water tube boiler. There we go. So with that, we can then come in here, turn you on. You won't be profitable initially, but that'll help with keeping the shipyard profitable as it expands. And then how does our clippers look? We make 35 locally, we're importing another 17 to about meet the requirements. I could probably get away with leveling that up to level 2. Or I could hold off, like I'm thinking of doing. Are we on reinforced ships in the shipyard? No, solve over the reinforced ships. Do the same with the military ships as well. Can I get you to sell me engines? Basically, no. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just have to hope the imports work. We'll drop the tariffs to encourage that happening a little bit. Foreign Manifesto. There becomes the radical movement. So you require 5 engines, the other one requires 5 engines as well, right? Yeah, okay. Let's quickly put in an engine factory, because apparently it's not importing reliably from the UK. Yeah, there is an argument to maybe try to swap over to laissez-faire. So I can hand more of the construction queue over to the private queue, but at the moment that's not an option. Well, not an option we can afford. Yeah, maybe swapping over to engines before we had engines was a bad idea. It'll work out. Here we go. Engines comes down. That's a little oversupplied. That's probably fine for the moment. And that means we should actually start to produce all our ships. And the military ships as well. I think I had those subsidized. Forgot to hit subsidy on there. Subsidize that. London Conference, and other than joining it, doesn't really matter to us. I'm in favor of the 24 points. And there we go. Mostly functional dockyard. Okay, in theory, we're probably exporting. Anyway, we're not importing any clippers. We'll probably start exporting some military warships. Yeah. We'll want to build our navy up. At the same time. Did you just back down? Yes, they just backed down. Huh. Okay. If I invade you, what's the likelihood I'm gonna get my face kicked in? Probably pretty... Well, get my face kicked in is probably pretty low, because they're not gonna come stop me, but, it's the likelihood of winning. So if I attack them, no one's gonna come help us, no one's gonna go help them. A little bit of a gamble here. We might be able to sway either Russia or Korea over. We have some old outdated hustlers. Yeah, okay. We'll update the cav. Doesn't make a big difference, I think. And then swaying. We won't be able to sway the Koreans apparently, but we can sway the Russians. So see what the Russians want. An obligation. Okay. Interesting. Wasn't expecting you to get swayed in. But you did. A new mandate. We're not going to build up any existing ones. I think we're going to go for advanced research here. Lower the education cost. The other point on advanced research is the higher tiers of advanced research. We lose more time reduction, more max innovative implications. For peace in their time. Belgium takes on the Dutch debt. Russia gets guaranteed peace. We get some more influence. That's good to see. And apparently give me a treaty with someone. I'm guaranteeing their independence for 5 years. Okay. From the perspective of naval landing, that's probably going to go terribly, horribly, but we do have a land border with the Russians to fight over, so I think we're going to still win the war. All our troops need to do is push to Beijing. Grab the shell guns. We'll apply the rifling tech. Honestly, I probably need to raise Texas. Dortmund Arsenal. Get the tech progression there. Yeah, I'm gonna raise taxes. And the debt was increasing faster than I desired. Early in the game, debt can be something that can get out of hand pretty easily if you're not careful. Nope, our navy got kicked. Well, that happens, I suppose. Just come join the front. The front's almost all the way to Beijing, anyway. I have military assistance to the Ottomans for nothing. Why is it not fulfilled? Probably my military power is not big enough in comparison to them, so that makes sense. We did take some attrition in the field. One of the reasons we wanted to move against the Great Qing so early on is the Great Qing has widespread opium addiction, which provides them minus 50, minus 50. So that's how we win a war against them without having to navally land them. And we got another corporation. What do we want early on? Iron would be tempting if it wasn't steel, honestly. Manufacturing industry throughput. Prussia metalwork combine, maybe. Or birth rate. We do manage to actually manage to be throughput. Yep. And then, before I forget, these guys trade rates so they can expand. Market, international trade on their own, and we should be able to negotiate a peace at this point. And there we go. That gave us the lovely state of Beijing, and apparently we have just enough bureaucracy that we can probably make it a state. Which this early in the game we're going to totally do. Gave us some tea, gave us some wheat. More lumber. And some semi-useful factories. So this also takes the semi-useful factories away from the Chinese. Okay. Do you not start with the dock? You did not start with the dock. Okay, so you're going to be a bit dysfunctional for 78 weeks. Okay. Pull back a decree from over here. Probably just promote social mobility. And this is how we can get construction going in Beijing a lot faster. So, road maintenance, violent suppression. That definitely helped with getting it done quicker. We do need a couple more government admin. Still put the dock at the top. That was not expecting the supply roads to be quite that expensive to go all the way around the world. So yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a problem trying to maintain Beijing here, but we're gonna try. Merchant Marine, confidence subvention on export. Encourage the private economy to build some more of that. Okay, dock is done. So this place should actually now have some market access. Now we need more convoys. Supply routes. Sure, we can declare interest in Arabia. Well, I need to fix the trade issue. I need to fix. I know we've the wood or the paper is reasonable. We'll drop the tariff, the import-export tariff on the paper. And yeah, we need to build forts for the convoys. So it's 100 convoys each. So we build like 4. I don't know, 100. So 8. Something like that. Okay. I'm actually just gonna head and pull the rest of the decrees here. So I can raise taxes. All endeavor has been more expensive than expected. Though I raised these taxes and it's not doing as much as I would hope. cut off revenue. That's barely helping. I think it's all the paper, actually. Yep, the tax revenue issue is solved. Working on the port issue, which may also help a little bit with the tax revenue. Most of our outlay is apparently government building, military building. So that's probably the difficulty of trying to get paper into Qing. The Han nationalist movement doesn't surprise me, they were like 68, 67%. And the springtime of the peoples. This is not a thing we'd have as China, because we're not in Europe as China. We are as these guys. Market access is improving. Bessemer process makes the steel cheaper. Which means we'll have to try to export a little bit more. German national identity. There we go. So, a German country must have resolved the Schleswig-Holstein question. Prussia has research nationalism, and there has to be no German unification candidates besides Prussia. And then most of the North Germans will merge into us. So probably once we finish this tech, we should research nationalism, which apparently is most of the way researched already. There's nationalism. Go back to the military text I was working on. Improve the trade, for example. So let's see. Can I get... I need to click on Holstein for this. Can I liberate subject, and will people come to help me? Austria is likely to come to help me. That's what we want to see. Just to recreate the, oh, and we need to force double play. It doesn't do us any good if they back down. We need this to be a war. Can I interest you in showing up? Show up for Holstein or an obligation. We'll ask you in for an obligation. And Mecklenburg will come in. You want me to give you Pomerania. I'm not really willing to give you Pomerania. So, no. Leaf is willing to come in. Mecklenburg was tempting because that will at least give me direct land border. Let's do one more liberate. We're going to liberate Schleswig as well. And then Mecklenburg. Diplomatic action. Actually, draft treaty. Can I get military access from you? You're just willing to give me military access. Sure. Okay, we'll pile all in on this front that we have for the moment. We'll try. When you have a hammer, every problem you see is a nail. Okay, looks like we're winning more. To be fair, in theory, the Austrians have come to help as well. Yeah. Probably the landing's going so well. Okay, now that their land invasion's done, can we send ours back? Yes. Open up a front on theirs, and again, if we can occupy both Schleswig and Holstein, it will decide that choice for us. Against odds. Loyalists. We're getting a little bit close to having that civil war actually happen. In fact, we probably will have that civil war happen at this point. There we go. Holstein question is solved, though technically not via the... I didn't get the plus 5% prestige option. I just want the version that liberates them. So the decision is now made, and now we just need to become the only unification candidate. Which would, in theory, mean actually attacking Austria and convincing Austria not to be a unification candidate. The other option... Which tab did I put this in? Has in fact been a while since I've done this, and apparently apparently I don't know where they moved it to. It used to be, I think, in the old population tab, old culture tab. To be fair, in theory, I think I just have Gotha's Ballet on these guys. Though we like each other, so I apparently don't have it. There's the nation formation. So we can see Germany here. Austria is the other one. So we got two different ways that we can do this. We can either make them not a great power, in which case I think they stop being an unification candidate, or we can launch a leadership play to break them out of it. I think we're going to hold off doing either until we can balance the budget, because the budget is a problem. Expensive paper, expensive iron. Okay, so let's reduce the paper cost. And my immediate guess is probably the most valuable to build in Beijing, yeah. How short are we? So let's at least build 5 paper makers. And then we'll probably stop spending for a little bit then, because that should have probably brought the price down enough that we can get the debt down. It is a little high. In the meantime, terminal should be dropping here. Yeah, it's dropping. Slowly but steadily. Oh. Why did that crumple the legitimacy of my government? Yeah, why did that crumple the legitimacy of my government? In the meantime, at least we've got positive revenue. We're going to need more paper when that comes back, so let's go ahead and get to building paper in here in our country instead. Yeah, one thing apparently I need to do as well is I really need to build up the number of boats I have. Okay. Here's bulk crane. Okay, see if our landing works. I think it will. And if it does, then we win the Civil War here and they get defeated. Allows the Ottoman Empire to build in Prussia. Allows Prussia to build the Ottoman Empire. Sure. There we go. Got you back. Okay. Later integration a bit again, but I think we'll be fine. Road maintenance. Oh, and the Civil War dropped the unrest in the country, or in the county, to 0 for the moment. We'll raise taxes instead, try to keep the budget balanced. Okay. Fleet expansion can be delayed until we deal with the paper issue. This paper shot up back up again. And of course, that's helped with stability. As one of the big bonuses of... Oh, we can bring in the industrialists. Sure. Let's try to swing into laissez-faire while we're at it. Okay, one of the big benefits of having Beijing is having the wonder that's here. If I can find it. There we go. Forbidden City. Bonus authority, bonus prestige, bonus legitimacy from head of government in... or head of state and government. mass laissez-faire, it'll be 75 or 75-25 in favor of the private queue, which, given our precarious credit situation, is probably what we want. We want the private queue to be able to do more stuff. Not be held back by the fact that I want to spend on things like the army and the navy. You know, the things that make the nation strong, but not the budget happy. Our GDP is smaller than Austria's, which is going to get fixed as I fix the economy. Prestige will go up as we build up the navy. And we start off in a defensive alliance with Russia and Austria, so. Get the expert. Yep, get an expert. Yeah, as we incorporate this place, this should help improve construction efficiency here, political strength, minimum standard of living, that sort of stuff. As well as, to be fair, it's going to just straight up increase our tax revenue as well, so. One thing I can also do, let's come in here. Government owned. Everything that's government owned, start privatizing. Worst case scenario, it's going to get bought up by the Ottomans. But that's probably fine in the short run. Trick. No, go ahead and modernize along with it. I'm on board with that. If your standard of living has dropped, I believe because we've taken over Beijing. Beijing's dragging it down. If you'd believe that. Cap advanced research. Gotta get the power block up to 3 to do that. Do I want the place coordination? I don't really want it. But maybe temporarily it would be worth having. Long run, we want colonial offices, but of course we need colonial institution for that to be worth having. Food standardization would be too bad. The pop growth standard of living. Go construction, state construction efficiency. Yeah, go that way. The revolution vanquished. Plus 25 legitimacy. Stabilizing the government by a lot. Just permit debate. So one major advantage, I suppose, of taking over Beijing is we now have a large pool of unemployed people that, because we allow internal migration, they can migrate over to good old Europe to backfill as we build, and do more building. Logistics. Working on tech-wise. I'm trying to push into some of the tier 3 military techs. Want gantry cranes, want the ironclads, monitors. Definitely appreciate things like shrapnel artillery. Would be useful for the upcoming wars. Army defense triage. We'll delete army defense. Defeat admitted. Quickly build our fleet up to 15 boats, so we can actually do proper naval landings with our tiny army. Canned meat, canned fish, mechanized workshop. Where's all my stuff? Defensive packs. Okay. Oh, military access as well. Okay. Okay. I'm having mental project interrupt us. Trying to do some diplomacy. I was wondering where all my diplomacy had gone. The answer is, it has. So I'm gonna have to deal with it for a moment. Botched a boycott. Yeah, okay, so that's a sign I definitely need to construct some more. Well, actually, that's the whole private queue, so maybe I can just accept that, it's fine. No, probably do one other one. Hell, more construction sectors. Changes topic. Building the construction sector. Building the herd. Yeah, except me. Motion's a little bit weaker. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build up the construction sector enough that at least the private queue, you know, has capacity to build what it wants to build. Well, that probably does mean I need to backfill the iron at some point, but we'll think about that once we've got laissez-faire implemented. $50-50? Got the bad 50. Just take prodigals. Minus 50% throughput is super punishing. We do have the armed forces and government, so bring them in and empower them. Utopia. Workers' privileges, universal suffrage. Strongly endorse cooperative ownership. It's apparently a sneaky way into Council Republic. Yeah, we'll have one of you. I don't think you're gonna go anywhere, but I get trade privileges and investment rights. You give me nothing. No. Let's negotiate this. This is unfair and unequal, and I'm not on board with this. I want at least something for my investment rights, like mutual investment rights. I would need the influence to pay for that. Because I would be 10 influence short. You know, we're gonna have problems with France one way or the other. Let's rival France. Which tab is that? There it is. So we can rival... Oh, even easier. No one likes Brazil. Okay, so now I can come over here and say, hey, can we make this a mutual investment right to investment right? They are on board with that. I'll do a mutual. On board with mutual. The hardwood. We can deal with the hardwood by just turning some hardwood PMs on. That help enough? No, 180 did. Okay, everyone's doing hardwood. That's not enough hardwood, then we just need more wood. That's the way I'm gonna roll with that. We probably just need more wood. Lots of fairs on everyone's lips now. Okay. So I definitely need to build more wood. I need to build more iron. We're actively importing wood, so I should probably build that first. Importing about 12 log camps worth. Domestic. I want the private queue to build foreign. I want to build personally domestic. Place it with the most peasants. There. There we go. At that point, that probably wants a railroad as well, so we'll queue a railroad up behind that. Okay, that's not helping to drive the debt down, but selling them might help. It'll help with the GDP at least. And by extrapolation, standard of living by providing valuable jobs to people. I have a new mandate. Construction 2. There's laissez-faire. So, on the note of passing laissez-faire, I think this is a good place to put a part break in. So if you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up tomorrow, because I'm going to try to record 3 more parts tonight. We got laissez-faire done. We've dealt with the Holstein-Schleswig question. We've taken Beijing, because I want the Forbidden City for myself. As hard as it is to maintain employment there. I think they're not hiring up here because of reasons. Okay. I want the Wonder, but the Wonder isn't hiring. Of course it doesn't. I think they need to be like non-discriminating or something for whatever reason. Not exactly sure what the Forbidden City is not hiring up. Not like you can subsidize it. Yeah, same here. Not sure why you're not hiring up. Should be hiring up. Also, somehow we have no one working here, but yet we're still making bureaucracy. Don't know if this is a beta bug or if this is actually a bug. We're still somehow making bureaucracy. This is where we're going to go ahead and end this part. If you're watching YouTube, there'll be a part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a quick stretch of the leg, take off my sweater, and then we'll get right back to recording. So until the next part, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.